Hello world, Cossy here with part 2 of this week's Geek movie news. If you haven't seen part 1, I will pop the link up just about here very quickly so you can pop out just in case you've missed it. You go and watch part 1, don't want to miss it, and then you can come back and watch part 2. For those of you who are ready to watch part 2, here we go, and here's a bit of news about Souce Code. Now, how many of you out there were fans of Souce Code, the techno thriller with Jake Gyllenhaal, where he played a decorated soldier who wakes up in the body of an unknown man, finding out that he's a part of a mission using Souce Code technology to find the bomber of a Chicago commuter train? Anyone? Well, if you are, it's getting a sequel of sorts. Not a direct movie sequel. In fact, no, instead it's going to be getting a TV series. Producer Mark Gordon's teaming up with ABC Studios to take this to CBS television. The TV series won't, unfortunately for those who are big fans of Gyllenhaal, have Jake Gyllenhaal in it, but instead it's going to be an action, procedural drama that follows 3 former federal agents who are involved in a secret mission using Souce Code technology to leap into the consciousness of those involved in tragic events. To me it sounds like very much like a quantum leap, a sort of modern day type of quantum leap, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think this kind of science fiction show has been missing from the schedules for a very, very long time. It's going to fill a gap, and it's got the possibility to be a really good series, just based on what I know and heard about it so far. It might even get me to finally watch this movie, which I've kind of been dodging a little bit since it came out, just so I know a little bit more about the Souce Code technology. But yeah, Souce Code, it's coming to television in the near future. Next up, some news about Resident Evil 5. Yay! I think you all know that that's sarcastic and that I'm not a particularly big fan of the Resident Evil movie franchise, but Milla Jovovich, she's been on Twitter this week talking about Resident Evil 5 and what's going to be going on in it. Obviously it's going to be called Resident Evil Retribution. For those of you who didn't know, that's the name that her writer, director, husband Paul W.S. Anderson is going for this 5th instalment in the Resident Evil franchise. She's been talking about some of the returning cast. Apparently Chris Redfield, who was played by Wentworth Miller, Claire Redfield, who's played by Ali Larter, and Kmart, who's played by Spencer Locke, will all be returning for this 5th instalment. But those characters have been abducted by the Umbrella Corporation. Little's known whether Wesker is involved or what's going on, but yeah, they've been confirmed as all being under the control of the Umbrella Corporation. They've been kidnapped, and obviously Milla Jovovich's character is going to go and save them. It's also been confirmed that some more characters from the actual video game series will be showing up in this movie. Characters like Leon Kennedy, Ada Wong, and Barry Burton will all show up in this 5th instalment of Resident Evil Retribution. Now, there's also a little nod to the 4th and 5th in the game franchise, because the zombie threat in this movie will come from Las Plagas, so linking it to the 4th and 5th game in the gaming series. Yeah, little nod for the video game fans. Shame that the actual movies have been pretty dire so far and will no doubt continue in that vein. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. Next up, a series that is going to be produced into a movie, a 1960s series called The Man From U.N.C.L.E. Now, watching this growing up, reruns on television, I was a fan. It's a spy espionage series, and it's getting a modern day interpretation. It's getting turned into a big budget Hollywood movie with Steven Soderbergh involved in this adaptation of The Man From U.N.C.L.E. It was really popular in the 60s, and it had a 1983 TV sort of reunion show, launched the careers of quite a few actors in that period, and yeah, so it's getting a remake as a big budget movie. Some casting news. George Clooney was originally linked and apparently signed on to star in this movie, but he's now dropped out. He said he will not be involved in The Man From U.N.C.L.E, which has left obviously a big hole to fill in the possible 2, at least, main roles. Looks though like there's been quite a few names put forward, but the 3 that keep getting bandied about are Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who I think would be brilliant in something like this, Ryan Gosling, and Alexander Skarsgård. They're the 3 names that have been bandied about by both industry insiders and by Soderbergh's people themselves. So we could see 2 of those 3 names at least involved in The Man From U.N.C.L.E. I think that they would be great. If I was going to pick, I'd go with Skarsgård and I'd go with Gordon-Levitt. I personally think that they are both stronger actors. No offence to Ryan Gosling, he's a good actor, but I think the 2 other names involved are stronger actors and would fit the roles a lot better. But we'll just have to wait and see. This is early on. Once anything's confirmed, I'll obviously let you guys know when I know. Next up, some news on X-Men. No, not First Class and not Wolverine. Not even Deadpool Origins. No. This is about a possible sequel to the original X-Men franchise, the original trilogy. Producer Lauren Schuler-Donner has been speaking this week saying that there is a possibility of an X-Men 4, but it will be in the distant future. So we're not going to see it within the next sort of 3 or 4 years. Obviously, she's agreed that she's concentrating on the First Class sequel, on the Wolverine movie, and obviously getting that Deadpool Origins movie finally made and into cinemas, and hopefully erasing the terrible portrayal of that character in that first terrible Wolverine movie. So it's possibly coming, but it won't be anytime soon. So we could get X-Men 4. The main reason she says behind this is she doesn't want to oversaturate the market with X-Men films, which is a brilliant thing. And Marvel Comics, as someone who has collected X-Men comics for, well, most of his life, maybe you would like to follow this example and stop saturating your own comic book market with X-Men comics. There's only so much money I have. I collect Batman comics as well, guys. There's enough of them. So yeah, maybe you should follow this rule and not oversaturate the market with the same product, or rehashed versions of the same product. And last up for part 2 this week, some news about Kick-Ass 2, Balls to the Wall. Now, Chloe Moretz came out this week and she's confirmed she will play Hit Girl in the sequel to the Kick-Ass movie. Unfortunately, we've got no date yet about when this is going to get made. Obviously, the comic book is still in publication, so we'll have to wait until it's finished, the whole storyline is finished. Probably have to wait until it's collected into a trade, ready to flog to the public just before the movie comes out as well. But she's confirmed she definitely will be involved in this movie, and she's very, very excited about it. As am I. The original people involved in making the first movie are involved in making this one. That includes Matthew Vaughn as director and co-writer. So, if you haven't seen the first Kick-Ass movie, where have you been? Have you been living under a rock? Go and watch it. It's fantastic. Hopefully this second one will be just as good, and hopefully it's not just me who's thinking, make this as quickly as possible. We need a second Kick-Ass movie. From what I've read so far of the comic book, it's a fantastic storyline. I want to see it on the big screen. Do it as soon as possible. Okay, thanks guys. Obviously, if you've missed the first part and you didn't click out at the start of the video, you waited till now, I'll pop a link up there so you can click out and watch the first part of this week's Geek Movie News. I'll also click a link up there and there for last week's, part 1 and 2 of last week's, and there's a lovely little subscribe button there now, so you can just very easily, simply, quickly subscribe to my channel. Obviously underneath the subscribe button, oh, there's a like button. Click this. You liked this video. It was good. You enjoyed it. Watch it as many times as you want. Send it to your friends. Post it on your social networking sites. Also, I've got a Facebook page. If you're not a fan of me on Facebook yet, you should be getting involved. This is where you'll get to hear about new stuff, new videos coming up, and you'll get to hear it before everyone else. It won't just appear in your subscription box. You'll know all about it because you're on Facebook all the time, like everyone else. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching. Obviously, until next time, au revoir.